What's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to the No Continues Gaming channel. And we're here for another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile video. And I'm excited because today we're doing branded. So you already know what it is. Like, comment, subscribe. Please stay tuned for future content. And we're finna go ahead and get into the deck. So first and foremost, I'm gonna go over the archetype, go over a little bit about what the deck can do, and ultimately I'm going to be showing you how to play branded from a gamer's perspective. Now, keep in mind, there's like, in my personal build, I have about 3, 4, 5 different themes going on here. Because I've got branded, I got the Despia, I got the Dogmatica, and the Bestials, and they're in between monsters, if you will. So we'll go ahead and jump on into the profile. Let's get it.
All right, so starting with the good guys, I'm playing 3 copies of Fallen of Albaz. Look at the artwork on that guy. So pretty much you're playing 3 of him because he's the main monster of the deck. As you'll see as we continue to go on, his effect to basically super poly off an opponent's monster is just insane. You can just out some boards just by normal summoning this guy and then just activating his effect. Next, we're playing 3 copies of the Incredible Ecclesia. I've seen a lot of lists playing like maybe 1 or 2 copies or whatever, but to me, she's definitely a 3 of. I'm playing 3 copies of her because in this particular list, I'm playing more than 40, so you can definitely afford to, try to see her in your opening hand because sometimes her plus Brandon and Red can just have several layers of interaction, which we'll get into later. So we got 3 copies of her. I'm playing 2 copies of Albion the Shrouded Dragon. So this guy, I'm playing 2 because the second one, generally you just side out for another card that you need for the specific matchup. But Albion is just really powerful, really strong. He allows you to send a card to the graveyard that's a branded spell or trap. And he does it from the deck, and he allows you to place him at the bottom to draw one. So that effect definitely comes up a lot because you're going to see some of the interactions later. And then I'm playing 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Mercurier, the monster negate, and then 1 copy of Spriggan's Kit. So these 2 kind of go together as part of the little engine that I've got going on that you're going to see later. But these 2 definitely you have to play at least 1 copy of both. I've been considering bumping Mercurier up to at least 2, but for now I am playing only 1. So that's it for the good guys, if you will. Now we're going to go to the Despian part of the deck. We're playing 3 copies of Aluber, the Jester of Despia. This is the guy who's the counterpart to the Fallen of Albaz. So we're not really completely sure on the background of this card, but we do know he comes from another dimension of the Despia. So really good card. He allows you to add a branded spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, and he just snowballs advantage if your opponent attempts to destroy one of your fusion monsters. He can special summon himself from the graveyard and negate the effect of a monster on your opponent's side of the field. We're playing 1 copy of the rest of these guys. So 1 copy of Dramaturge of Despia, 1 copy of Ad Libitum of Despia, 1 copy of Despian Tragedy, and then 2 copies of Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous. I consider her a Despia monster because she gets corrupted by the Despia because this is actually Dogmatica Ecclesia, or Incredible Ecclesia as you know her from her second iteration of the story. So that's it for the Despia guys. And then we're on the Bestial monsters. So we're playing 3 copies of the Bestial Lubellion. This is Aluber the Jester of Despia, but after he undergoes several evolutions, which we'll go over in a moment. He's really broken because he lets you discard to add a Bestial monster from your deck to your hand. 3 isn't necessary, but if I play a lot of going second, so seeing him in my opening hand just helps me snowball a lot of advantage, because sometimes just having him to discard to add a Bestial, a lot of people just attempt to negate. And what's so sweet about it is he forces a lot of different interactions, because a lot of times people don't want to see their stuff in their graveyard get banished. So they might shotgun an effect just because you see this card in rotation. So on 3 copies of him. He's the leader of the Bestials. This is Bestial Magma Hut. Each bestial monster has an extra deck version of itself from the Fallen of Albaz. So we're going to see them as we kind of go into the extra deck stuff, but this is Bestial Magma Hut. This is one of the powers of the Fallen of Albaz that he took from another archetype. Then we're on 3 copies of him. We're on 3 copies of the Bestial Saranir as well. So what all the Bestials do outside of Lubellion, and I'm going to go ahead and show the last one, and the last one I'm playing is Druid Swarm. What the Bestials all do is they banish a monster from your opponent's graveyard or your graveyard that's light or dark. And then Magma Hut during the end phase adds a dragon. Saranir, what he does is when he gets sent to the graveyard in any kind of way, he's going to go ahead and either send a bestial monster from your deck to the graveyard, or he's going to send a branded spell or trap card from your deck to the graveyard. And then what Druid Swarm does is when he leaves the field specifically, he's going to send a special summon monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. So I actually like that ratio. I'm not playing Baldrake because I don't feel he's necessarily needed. But yeah, these are the original ones that sort of came out. I thought the idea was because the branded Despia stuff is kind of a play on the Book of Revelations. I was thinking that the iteration of the Bestials represented the 666, the number of the beast, because Lubellion represents himself as a part of the Albaz that got shredded off, which we'll go again into later. And then Saranir is going to be Brigran, the Glory Dragon, right? Magma Hut is Titantaclad, and then Druid Swarm, I have to look at the artwork, but I want to say Druid Swarm is going to be I actually forget which one Druid Swarm would be, but once we get to the extra deck, we'll definitely go back over it. But yeah, so those guys. And then for the end, for our Dogmatica package, I'm playing one of each. So one Ecclesia. You only are usually summoning her on your opponent's turn, which we're going to get into that combo. And then she's going to get you the Fleur-de-Lis the Knighted, because Fleur-de-Lis is your monster negate. The main of the show is Maximus, because Maximus is going to make you and your opponent send a card from your extra decks to the graveyard, and that's going to come up the most, at least in the build and in the combos that we're going to be talking about later. So, one copy of each of those guys. So we got a fat stack of monsters here. Going now into your spells and traps. Alright, so starting with the generic spells, we've got 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. This card is so multi-purpose in this deck. Like, you can reveal for summoning Blazing Cartesia, you can reveal for summoning Fallen of Albaz. Fusion Deployment, you really need to be playing 3 of this card. It's just got too many multi-purpose abilities. This and your branded fusion, sometimes they'll let like this go, and if this goes off, there's a lot of times where you don't even need your branded fusion to completely go off to get all of your plays going. So this definitely helps play around Ash and a couple other hand traps, just because it allows you to just summon a monster between Albaz and Blazing Cartesia just to get your plays going. So I'm on 3 copies of this card for this deck. Next, we're on 3 copies of Branded Opening. I really love the artwork for this card. So essentially what's happening here is this card lets you discard a card on resolution to basically summon Albaz, the Jester of Despia, let's be honest. And then it has a hidden effect for the instead mechanic that will allow your fusions to be saved once by being destroyed by card effect by banishing it from the graveyard to protect all your stuff. So that definitely does come up. Branded Fusion at 3. Not much needs to be said. This card is absolutely broken. Allows you to fusion summon one of your main boss monsters from your extra deck by using monsters from your hand, deck, or field. So, I mean, not much else needs to be said. This card is just really broken. Best fusion spell in the game right now, by far. And then the next 3 of us, we're playing 3 Nadir Servants. So just to show you guys like what we got going on. So to paint a picture, what Nadir Servant allows us to do is you're going to send an extra deck monster to add Dogmatica Maximus, okay, from your deck to your hand, because he's going to float into a lot of like the bigger plays that we're going to talk about later. But you're playing so many turbo spells. Look at this. You got Nadir Servant. You've got your Branded Fusion. You got Branded Opening. You got 9 power spells right here. And then you got your Fusion Deployment as a backup. Just insane amount of gas that you got going into your bigger plays. So then from there, we got 1 copy of Branded Lost. This card is just absolutely incredible. It protects all your fusion summoning. It allows you to gain cards and advantage. And it pretty much keeps your opponent on the back foot pretty much as long as you're continuing to play out your combos. 1 copy of Despia Theater of the Branded. This card is just really strong. This is the only field spell for the archetype at the moment. We're getting another one very soon. But this one is just the superior one because it allows you to fusion summon. It special summons a monster back from the graveyard if your monsters get destroyed. It does a lot of multi-purpose things. And it is a field spell that can be searched from the archetype. So amazing. We got 1 copy of Branded in Red. This is the counterpart for Branded in White. So they're both fusion spells. Branded in Red is sometimes a little bit better because it can add a monster back from your graveyard to your hand first, and then it applies a fusion summon. And look at that artwork, man. Just goodness gracious, I love it. Branded in White. This is the fusion spell for the Fallen of Albaz. It's essentially a polymerization that can reset itself face down if it gets discarded or sent to the graveyard by the effect of the Fallen of Albaz. And then the last spell card is Branded Regained. This is the one for Bestials that pretty much allow you to special summon a Bestial from your graveyard.
All right, guys, that was my Branded Despia deck profile. I really do hope you liked it and everything. This deck is amazing. I've been playing it for a long time. I really like the deck a lot. I do believe that the ratios I'm playing the deck is correct, and I would definitely advise you to try it, man. You got so many different lines of play, so many different things you can do with the deck, and maybe in the next video I can do some test hands, some combo videos, try to go over just some more relevant information. But yeah, stay tuned for future content, man, because I'm still recording videos. I'm actually playing Final Fantasy 14 right now, and I'm building up my knowledge back in that because I stopped playing it for like a long time.
But I'm going to be streaming that as well, so definitely stay tuned. So like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Play, beat, survive, do everything you can in life. Just do it with no continues. This is your boy Edgemaster X signing out. Peace.